In honor of the new Dragon Ball Z movie Resurrection F playing in theaters across North America, as well as the new Dragon Ball Super anime, I decided to make a new Dragon Ball Z video, this time on my top 8 Dragon Ball Z games of all time. Why top 8? Well, because there haven't really been that many great Dragon Ball Z games so far. My only rule for this list is that I won't include games that are basically the same game, but for portable consoles instead of console releases. So that means no Shin Budokai or Tenkaichi Tag Team, unfortunately, even though those are great games. So without further ado, who's played the Game Boy Advance Dragon Ball Z games? They were fun, except for Taiketsu. That one wasn't so fun. But the Legacy of Goku series was a nice little way to get your DBZ fix on the go. You could walk around, explore the different environments from the anime, use a couple of Goku's signature moves, and fight through all the classic scenes. There's not a whole lot of substance to it, but they did a pretty good job cramming a lot of content into this considering it was a Game Boy Advance game. The first Legacy of Goku game went up to the Frieza Saga, the second one went through the Cell Saga, and the third one went through the Buu Saga. By the time the third one came out, there were much better DBZ games out there, so the Legacy of Goku games were starting to lose their touch, but it was still a very fun trilogy. The mechanics were beefed up a little with each additional installment, and this was just what the Game Boy Advance needed to fill that void of buff angry men. It was also funny how true they tried to stay to the show given the hardware limitations they had.
Vegeta! What does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000!
If nothing else, it was just great to see some of the famous Dragon Ball Z scenes like this with amazing 3D graphics. The gameplay in this was basically just like the original Budokai games, which I'll get into later, so it was getting kinda stale, but it was still fun. The big thing this game had going for it at the time were the graphics, since it was the first next-gen HD Dragon Ball Z game. Otherwise, it was just like the Budokai games. So Legacy of Goku was good for a Game Boy Advance game and all, but I want some of that intense action the series is known for, not this. Then Supersonic Warriors comes along, and they made a sequel that was even better. Yes, this is exactly what we wanted. You get to fly around, shoot beams at your opponents from anywhere, perform cool combos. This was the best originally for portable console DBZ experience in my opinion. The characters. So many characters. Every single character, pretty much. The roster of this game was incredible. I've never seen so many characters to pick from in a fighting game, ever. Unfortunately, because of this, the gameplay suffered and most of them played relatively the same. Still fun though, still fun. The Tenkaichi games traded off the side-by-side fighting style for an over-the-shoulder experience that made the game feel more like a DBZ simulator rather than just another DBZ fighting game. And it was cool. Free-flying, soaring around shooting ki blasts, basically Supersonic Warriors but in 3D. So awesome, at least at first. After a while, you realize that every single character played pretty much the same, so it didn't take too long to get a little stale. So take all of those characters, cut just a few dozen, refine the gameplay a bit, and amp up the frame rate and graphics exponentially. That's what Raging Blast 2 is. Good stuff. But unfortunately, when I say refine the gameplay, that doesn't mean much. Your movements seem to flow together just a little bit more in this game, which made the whole game feel better to play, but other than that, the core gameplay was essentially the same as Tenkaichi. Well, here it is, the fan favorite of the series. I'll admit it's a fantastic fighting game, but it just doesn't quite capture the magic and intensity of the show in my opinion. Budokai 3 has cool combos, but it doesn't let you fly around freely. It feels more like a traditional fighting game rather than a DBZ simulator, which is what I want out of a DBZ game. I want to feel like I'm actually playing through the series myself, not just playing some fighting game that happens to have a DBZ skin over it. That being said, it was fantastic for a traditional fighting game with a DBZ skin. Everything felt like it was supposed to, pulling off combos and launching your opponents was super fun. My main complaint with this game was this dumb rock, paper, scissors thing you have to go through every time someone starts up one of these special attacks. They got old super fast. So what's this? CFT. You just said you prefer the over-the-shoulder games. Why is Budokai 1 above Budokai 3? I've mainly been discussing the gameplay in these games so far, but Budokai 1 had something
Even further beyond!
the best presentation of the DBZ story outside of the anime, as well as, objectively, the best soundtrack out of the series. Honestly, one of my favorite soundtracks ever. I mean, just listen to a few seconds of this. Now combine that with some of this.
I can't allow you to do this anymore! And now, Frieza, you are going to pay!
The feeling of playing through this as a fan of the show was incredible. Heck, I actually played this game before even watching the show and I thought it was incredible. And I still think it holds up to this day. I love playing through this game every so often, and I watch the cutscenes every time. The fighting may be simple compared to later DBZ games, but the single player with the music and the fantastic cutscenes is just so fun. Plus, it didn't have the annoying rock, paper, scissors thing. But this game is what, 13 years old now? Have they been able to make a better DBZ game since then? Yes, Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Finally, after all these years, we get a new game with a new story and new cutscenes. Sure, some of the other games had what-if scenarios, and this new storyline may even follow a path that's only slightly altered from the original story, but it's the first time in 14 years that I feel they finally put some care and effort into the single-player presentation again. Instead of having stagnant replays of the same character animations on repeat as an excuse for cutscenes, the characters actually have unique, detailed animation, and they really carry on the spirit of the show, but in a new way that feels fresh. If you want to hear more of my thoughts of this game, I went a little further in depth on this video I did here, so feel free to go check that out. Hope you enjoy! Was your favorite Dragon Ball Z game on this list? If it wasn't, let me know in the comments below. I've played most of the Dragon Ball Z games, but not all of them. Did you see Resurrection F in theaters while it was out? What'd you think? I loved it. Also, what would you be interested in hearing me talk about next? I'm open to ideas, and if I use your idea in the next video, I'll credit you in it. Thanks for watching, and be sure to click subscribe if you like my videos. Go check out these other videos right here and here, and yeah, hope you like them. I am Vegeta, Prince of all sandwiches. I'm not gonna let you get away, Vegeta. You're too late, Cucaracha.